Building a house is a big process. It's a big project for most people, and most people are very apprehensive because it's most of their net worth goes into building their home. It's a lot of time, and there's a lot of decisions that people want to make that they're not used to making. The modular process really makes it, I'm going to call it fun, because you're sitting down at a kitchen table, you're sitting down with your family, you're sitting down with a representative from USModular, you're designing your house. You know, we have some sample floor plans that we can start with, but when you see the kids picking out and actually drawing their bedrooms, or you're picking out your family room and you're drawing that and you're picking out finishes, it's a fun process. The most exciting part of the way we build with off-site modular construction is the day your house arrives. The foundation's been built, the utilities have been brought into the property, and the modules that we've built off-site are brought into your lot. A massive crane is on site, and you have a neighborhood that comes together, and you have everybody who lives anywhere near your home sees a 100-ton crane with a boom that's swinging a 50 or 60 foot long module. You bring your neighborhood together and it becomes a party atmosphere where your home goes from a foundation to a complete structure in one day. What I like about modular construction is you get a quality product, you have a consistent product. When you put together your budget, you don't have change orders, you don't have surprises. That budget is the budget that you're going to start with, and that's the budget you're going to end with, unless the owner comes in and wants to make some changes. So it's an easy process, it's time efficient process, it gives people a quality home, it gives them savings that aren't available on site built projects. So as I look at the future, I think more and more owners, more and more general contractors, more and more developers of not only single family homes but multifamily projects are looking at off-site modular constructions as an opportunity for them to build the square footage of the home that they want within the budget that they want, and more significantly with the quality that they want. Anybody who's looking to build a home faster, better, greener, and for less than a traditional site-built home is a good candidate for an off-site modularized home. Somebody who doesn't want to go through the hassle and the stress of building a home that you've heard about. Anybody who you know has built a home has got a horror story of building a home. The modularized home building process is a very streamlined, very efficient process. Most of the decisions are made up front, and then we build your home off-site. When we arrive with the modules on site, 90% of the job is complete. So the history of modular construction really is is the next generation of home construction. Homes have been built on site ever since they've been building homes. Modularization of home construction really is kind of the Henry Ford approach to building a house, which is we can build it more efficiently, we can build it with a higher quality, and we can typically build it for less if we build it inside of a factory or a building center, and we use the efficiencies of a production line. We get a lot of people that talk to us that have the misperception or a preconceived notion of what a modular home is. Most people think a modular home is going to be a manufactured home, it's going to be a HUD home, it's going to be a mobile home. Although modular homes grew out of that industry where you have factory-built housing, it's a 180-degree difference than a manufactured home. A manufactured home was built to the HUD code, it's an affordable product, it's typically built on a temporary foundation and is movable. Modular home is built to your local building code. 2x6 exterior walls, typically has 30% more wood than a site-built home. It's installed on a permanent foundation, a very high quality home. If you were to put a modular home next to a site-built home, you would not be able to tell which home was which because they're both built using the exact same material. Modular homes or off-site modular homes are going to have a higher quality to them because of the efficiencies that are inherent to building inside of a controlled environment. You have professionals that do specific jobs, and they do it every day, and they do it very well. We build differently than a site builder in that we have multiple layers of quality control in our building process. It starts at the state. We have a state contracted inspector that inspects each module as it's built in the factory. You have a plant manager who's responsible for the overall quality of the products that come out of his factory. You have a quality control individual within that factory who's responsible for that line personnel who's building that. You have personnel who have been on the line in some cases 15 and 20 years building in that particular factory, so they're highly skilled at knowing, how to build the product, looking at this project and determining whether or not it's built to the quality and the code that is acceptable for that particular factory. And then US Modular has a project manager who physically goes out and inspects each module as it is built in the factory to ensure that it's built per plan, to our standard of quality, and to the specifications that we need, because we're responsible for transporting and setting that on our foundation, and it has to be built exactly as it's dictated. Otherwise, you're going to have problems in the field that we can't afford to have. An off-site modularized home is going to be a more efficient home because it's built tighter. When you build inside a factory, you have tighter corners, tighter creases, tighter lines. You have 2x6 exterior walls, so you have more room for insulation. You're not going to have gaps that you would have on site where you have somebody trying to put two pieces of lumber together using their thumb and their eye. We're using laser lights and computer guided skill saws that create a very tight building envelope. So you're going to have a more efficient home built in a factory. Off-site modular homes are typically going to be greener in nature for a couple of reasons. One is we recycle a lot of the materials that we use in a factory setting. You don't throw a lot of materials in a dumpster that you would on site. On a typical home, you're going to see about 2 tons of trash generated from a home that was built in a factory. That same home built on site would generate about 4 tons of trash. Another benefit is you don't have workers traveling all over the county, all over an area trying to get to a job site and then going home. Typically you have a factory setting where you have most of the workers that live near that factory, so you're going to save greenhouse gases just in the fact that you don't have people and workers driving the job site, the job site, the job site. We do use a lot of materials that are inherently green with no or low VOC paints. We try to use materials that are renewable sources of timbers. So we do build with green nature, the green nature of our building, and we do qualify for different LEED levels depending on how the home was designed. One of the biggest advantages of building with off-site modular construction is the time savings. And the time savings starts at the very beginning. In every particular phase of construction, there's a savings. From the designing aspect of it, to the permitting aspect, to the actual fabrication of the structure, to the completion on site. Our home process, start to finish, if everybody works together and commits to it, typically the homeowner has to really focus and work with us. You can build a home in anywhere from 4 to 5 months start to finish. That same home site built is going to take anywhere from 12 to 18 months. We have an in-house design team that can work with you to design your project in a very abbreviated time period, because we have experience looking at existing floor plans and bringing your design into a form that we can build in a very quick and a very affordable time period. The old adage that time is money is really a true factor, especially when you come to construction, because it's a significant outlay of money that you have. You have several factors that come into play. You have typically either a land loan or a land and construction loan that you're paying on. The interest carrying cost of that over 4 months is going to be significantly less than if you carry that over 18 months. A lot of times people don't take into consideration some of the soft costs when you're building a project. While you're building your home, you're living somewhere. You're either making mortgage payments or you're making rent payments. And if we can get you into a home 6 months, 8 months, a year sooner than a site-built project, that savings should be incorporated back into your project. And now you're looking at anywhere from a 10 to 20 to 25% savings over the exact same home built 100% on site. As far as the design of homes, that actually probably is one of the misperceptions that people have, is that you're locked into a small, boxy, very generic looking home. If you look on our website or you look at the home that we're sitting in now, 3,500 square foot craftsman with a lot of movement on the outside. Really, if you in your mind's eye can design a home, we can build that home. There's very few things that don't make sense to build in a factory. Our company is a little different than most other people that build using off-site modular construction, is that we will build what our client wants. We won't build just what a factory has available. After we're contacted, we would have an initial consultation, talk about your project, talk about the land, talk about your budget, talk about your expectations of when and where and how you want this property or home built. And then if after we have that initial consultation, it sounds like a project that is qualified and you're interested in building, then we can schedule a site analysis where we actually have one of our principals visit the site, walk the site with you. We would get our engineer involved that would talk to the city and look at the different fees, utilities, school fees, any other fees that might be applicable to that particular project. And then at that point we would put together a preliminary floor plan for you, and then a conceptual budget. So you now have a very tight idea as far as what is it going to take finance-wise for you to build this project. From that point on, if you looked at the budget, you can take that budget and the conceptual floor plan and talk to one of the lenders that we have that are familiar with the modular process. Talk to them, get qualified for your loan, and then once you have your financing in place, then we can start the process of having your plans engineered, permitted at the state of California or whatever state you're in. Take those state-approved plans to the local building department, and then once we have our building permit in place, then we go into site construction and off-site construction, where we do your utilities, your foundation, and we're fabricating the modules at the same time.